Shapira, who was known as the Rebbe of Piaseczno. Okay, and he was also, now he's known as the Rebbe of the children of the Warsaw Ghetto. He died in the Holocaust. And he was a very special person who was also a very special educator. He's kind of like the Hasidic parallel to Jan Kurczak. And last week we read some of his educational stuff. The truth is, everything he wrote was somehow educational or meant to teach. Tonight, what we're going to do is I picked 3 subjects that it seemed to me would fit the audience. The 3 subjects in the order that I hope to do them is the service of God by woman. In other words, Hasidism is well known as to bring the service of God down to the level of the average man. But where do women fit in? And where do women fit in for an educator like Rabbi Kalonymus Kalman Shapira? That's the first topic. Mm-hmm. The second topic is freedom of thought. Okay. In the past, we've talked about dogma and the Rambam's 13 principles. It turns out that he addresses some of these issues. Okay. And perhaps in rather surprising ways. So that's the second issue, freedom of thought. And the third issue is belief or faith in God on the edge, meaning we'll trace his thought about belief in God and trusting in God from both before the Holocaust to the things that he writes during the Holocaust in the Warsaw Ghetto. How does he cope with challenges to faith? Okay, those will be the 3 topics for tonight. So we'll start with the first topic. What I'll have to do is share, not my screen this time, but my word processor, which I think we can do in Zoom. Does everybody see my word processor? Everybody see it? It's visible? Good. Okay. I'm going to move it over to my smaller screen. You know what I'll do? Actually, I won't move it over to my smaller screen. Can you see me now?
Yes, but we can just barely hear you.
Well, hearing is a different issue. How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, much better.
All right.
Yes.
In terms of seeing, let me see. I just moved my camera. I don't see myself. Oh, there I am. You see my, here, wait a minute. Okay, so maybe this can be done. Maybe I can use this screen. Yeah, it sort of works. Okay.
Just keep the microphone close.
Just keep the microphone close. Okay. Is it good? All right. So what I'm going to do now is look at this text with you. Okay. Feminine divine service in the writings of the Piaseczno Rebbe. It was compiled. The sources I have here were graciously sent to me by a man by the name of Rabbi Dr. Tzvi Leshem, who is the librarian, get this, he's the librarian of the Gershom Shalom collection at the National Library of Israel. Gershom Shalom, he donated his library, which included his books and his notebooks, okay? All of his scholarship he donated in his will to the National Library of Israel. And the curator of the collection is Rabbi Dr. Tzvi Leshem, who is also a big fan of the Piaseczno Rebbe. And he compiled some collections, okay, of his writings. This is actually a source sheet, okay? It doesn't start with the Piaseczno Rebbe. It gives the background for the topic that we're going to study. If you want to study using traditional Jewish texts about the service of God by women. So an obvious place to start is to take women in the tradition who were servants of God. And the example here, as you can see, is Miriam. Miriam is said by the sages to have died with a kiss. Okay, she was one of three who died with a kiss. The three were Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, the three siblings. Okay, they each died in a pleasant way. They simply lied down and life left them. And but there's something special in that regard about Miriam. So this text starts in Numbers 20. And all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the desert of Tzin in the first month and settled in Kadish. And Miriam died and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled against Moses and Aaron. And Chazal immediately say on this that
Avi, I can't see the passage. Could you raise it?
you don't see the
Yeah,
text?
I only see, and there was no water for the Zel, and I don't see under it.
You don't see it with the passage from Numbers has how many lines on your screen?
So I only have from Rashi on Numbers 21 to 2 more lines.
So you're seeing exactly what I see.
So could you lower it so I could see more?
Well, you have to give me a chance to get there. We're still reading number
Susan,
one.
look at the top paragraph that's labeled numbers, not Rashi. Paragraph 1.
I thought he was already on the second.
No.
Because he said she died with the divine kiss.
No, I just said that. I didn't read it. Okay.
Okay.
So we're just in the verses. Okay, there's two verses here. The first verse says that they came to Midbar Tzin, the desert of Tzin, and Miriam died and was buried there. The second verse is about water. All of a sudden, there wasn't water. Chazal connect these two verses and say that the water during the 40 years in the desert was in the merit of Miriam. Okay, it was her righteousness, or through her righteousness, that the children of Israel had water for 40 years. In other words, the Midrash sees cause and effect here. Miriam died and was buried there. That's the cause. The effect is there was no water for the congregation. Right? The water was in her merit. Because she died, her merit is no longer there, and now there is no water. And then the people got upset, and they assembled against Moshe and Aharon. This is the passage where Moses hits the rock, okay, and all of the water comes out. That's the passage that we're looking at now. Just be aware that this is Numbers chapter 20. Numbers chapter 19 is about the red calf, the red cow, and there's a 38-year gap here. The Torah is in the second year in the desert through Numbers 19, and all of a sudden in Numbers 20, we're in the 40th year of the desert. Okay, there's a giant gap. There's a jump of an entire generation between Numbers 19 and Numbers 20. That's what's implied by the verses here. Okay, so now all of a sudden we've jumped in Numbers 20 to the 40th year in the desert. Miriam dies. Note, by the way, that she has to die because she is a member of Moshe's generation. And the decree after the sin of the spies was that that entire generation must die and will not enter the land. So Miriam dies. Shortly afterwards, Aharon will die. And then at the very end of the Torah, but still in the same year, Moshe will die. The first one to go is Miriam, in whose merit there was water.
I've got a
Now,
shaila.
Rashi says, yes,
Can I ask a shaila?
of course.
Is that the reason that the Miriam's cup of water at a Seder has become
Miriam's cup of water at the Seder?
yeah.
This is something I'm not familiar with. Maybe someone
It's
can.
now been done for 10, 15 years, certainly at my Seders.
Okay.
Become
so-
very common in certain circles.
So explain what it means in certain circles.
It represents Miriam,
Okay.
and because she's associated with water, it's water and not wine. And we always use a clear glass, wine glass, rather
Okay.
than we use a imitation gold goblet for Elijah with wine in it.
Okay. Well, what is meant to be the meaning of having a cup of Miriam with wine?
So
I'm with
that
a
we have
water,
a
I mean.
female representative.
Well, to have a female representative at the Seder.
Exactly.
Because she played a big part in the Exodus as well.
She did
She
indeed.
did.
And yeah,
Yeah. There would be no Exodus without Miriam. Okay, so that's new to
That's
me.
right. There wouldn't be any of us without Miriam.
That's right. Okay, that's new to me. It's a nice idea. And it fits in here.